This is James Helder for IFL TV in association with Macklin's Gym Marbella and Hennessy Sports. I'm in Monte Carlo today. It's big fight week. Martin Murray taking on the WBA super champion Gennady Golovkin. With me, I've got Gennady's trainer Abel Sanchez. How are we doing, sir?
We're doing great, and he's the WBA super champion, the IBO champion, and he's also the WBC interim champion. Yes,
indeed, indeed. Talk to me a little bit about how the camp's been in Big Bear, if you don't mind, Abel.
Well, he was in camp for about 9 weeks, actually 8 weeks and 1 week here. It went well. He came to camp at 170 pounds, a little under 170, so it was a camp where we could practice some of the things that we need to improve on, not necessarily shed weight. So we had a lot of fun.
Do you think technically Gennady Golovkin can improve? Is that a thought that goes through your mind?
Oh, absolutely. I think every fighter can improve. It's just a matter of putting their mind to it and having a coach making sure that he's trying to do something different. We, in our camp, every fight that Gennady comes to, we pick, I tell him there's 2 things that we're going to work on for this camp. 2 different things that we haven't done in the past. We're going to not only work on, but try to emphasize the learning on those particular things, so that hopefully by the time he gets 10, 12 fights, we're more of a complete fighter.
How much do you know about Britain's Martin Murray?
I know that he's a world, or should be a world champion right now. I saw both fights without sound. I thought Martin beat both guys, but that's the past. That, I think, has motivated Martin to go to South Africa and make sure that he got ready the way that he needed to get ready for a fight against Golovkin. So we're expecting a tough challenge.
If Martin Murray comes out and tries to dictate the pace and bully Golovkin a little bit, do you think he could be playing into Golovkin's hands?
You know, I think so. But I think that Martin's people are smarter than that. I think that Martin is smarter than that. And I think that once Martin gets hit with a first, I'm not going to say on the chin, just anywhere with a first shot, he'll realize that that's something that he can't do. He's going to have to use his skills, which he has a lot of. He's going to have to box Golovkin. He's going to have to move on Golovkin. If he stands still, it'll be a short night.
I mean, every 10 to 15 years we get a special fighter come along with special powers. Is there anything you do with Golovkin to help him generate that power?
The power is God-given. That power comes from birth, or should I say heavy hands come from birth. The power that he generates is through timing, through technique, through balance, through position, but most of all through confidence. I think the 350 amateur fights and a great Kazakh amateur program, he's been in every situation that you could imagine, so nothing is going to befuddle him, nothing is going to be strange to him. So he understands the moments, and he understands what he needs to do in every moment.
When was the first time you met Gennady Golovkin, Abel?
It was 2010, right around April.
Did you know at that time he was going to be as special as he is?
When I first met him, no. We talked a little bit, we saw some videos, I told him what I thought he could do different. They left for 2 months, came back, I picked him up at the airport, we went to camp. The first time I caught him on the mitts was the first time I thought, we have something special here. I asked him to give me 3 years, and I promised him that I would make him the best middleweight in the world, the most avoided fighter in the world, an undefeated champion, and the people were going to talk about him. And he looked at me like I was crazy. He looked at me like, come on, coach. I embarrassed him is what I did. And to this day, he hasn't questioned anything that we've done. I was astonished that a guy with 350 amateur fights and a silver medal in the Olympics would say, okay, coach, how do you want me to change? And he was willing to do that.
How does Martin Murray compare to some of the recent opponents that Gennady Golovkin's faced? The likes of Daniel Gill, the likes of Marco Antonio Rubio. How does Murray compare to those guys?
Well, I think if you look at some of the writings and leading up to the last 3 or 4 fights, everybody that we face is the toughest challenge to date. You know, Martin Murray is the next challenge to date. He's accomplished, but then Daniel Gill was accomplished too. I think what Murray has more than the other guys had was he's hungrier. I think he's hungrier because he hasn't had that belt around his waist and has been ripped off from him twice. So that right there is a dangerous fighter. That fighter that's a hungry fighter and has been ripped off, I want to say, I guess, before, is a dangerous fighter. So we're looking for a guy that's going to come out and be smart.
What are your goals for Gennady Golovkin over the next, say, 2 years?
Well, first of all, I think that we need to make sure, as he puts it, I want to know who's who in the 160-pound division. I want to make sure that we clean out the division, we figure out who the champion is, and then if we have to, we move up to 168 or drop down 154 if Floyd was gonna fight a fight before he retires. But I think the plan is to make sure that we understand and the world understands who the best 160-pound fighter is.
Do you think a fight with Miguel Cotto can realistically happen for Gennady's next fight?
You know, the WBC has mandated that before the end of the year because he's the interim champion. I hope it happens. I think the fans deserve it. I think that Miguel's legacy deserves it. I don't think that it would be good for him to walk away and vacate a title by saying, I don't want to fight Golovkin, which is what he would be saying no matter what excuse he makes. But I think it'd be a great fight. I think Miguel will pose some problems that we've never had before, and that's experience and what is it, triple champion or quadruple champion that he's been. So it'll pose a lot of problems, but Golovkin is a special fighter, and I think that he would be able to see through that and make it a great fight.
Have you ever seen Golovkin lose his temper?
No.
He seems so calm and so precise with his actions.
No, I've never seen him lose his temper. I've seen him very upset, determined, not upset, but determined. But I've never seen him lose his temper. I've never seen him raise his voice. I've always admired that he can be such a gentleman in this kind of sport. You know?
I said we came away the first time we met him with the same impression. He's a very humble man for his amount of talent that he possesses.
Yeah. When he says, I understand my situation, he means it wholeheartedly. He understands who he is and where he's at and his obligation to his fans.
All right, well listen, Abel Sanchez, I can't thank you enough for talking to IFL TV. It's great to meet you in person, sir.
Thank you very much.
I hope you enjoy your stay in Monaco.
Thank you, I will.